In part 1 of this video, we started looking at color systems. Let's now continue by considering how we make new colors by mixing. So, how do we mix pigments? Well, you're probably used to thinking about colors in terms of a color wheel. On the color wheel, we have 3 primaries for pigments. They're red, yellow, and blue. And we call those primaries because you can't make those out of anything else. To make yellow paint, you have to go out into the world and find something that is yellow and grind it up and then mix it up into some sort of a substrate or some kind of a medium that you can then use to paint with. You can't mix 2 other colors to get yellow. Same thing for red, same thing for blue. Those are the ones you have to find in the real world. The others you can make by mixing them. And so in a wheel like this, we can see halfway between yellow and red is orange. That's a secondary. And you can keep going. You can make tertiary colors and so forth by mixing up these different elements of the color wheel. So one way we can represent this is to pick 3 splotches of color, one for each primary, yellow, red, blue. And we can see where they overlap. Yellow and red overlap, they make orange. Yellow and blue overlap, they make green. Red and blue overlap to make purple. And in the middle, again, depending on the exact paint you're using, you'll get a brown or a gray or different kinds of grays, but you'll get that sort of a darker color. So this is how pigments mix. We work with the primaries, red, yellow, blue. If you're printing, you use a different set of primaries. The printing press primaries are a little different. They're not red, yellow, blue. They're magenta, yellow, cyan. So this gives us a whole different set of mixing techniques. We mix the colors in different ways. And in fact, this is exactly what you see if you look at a color photograph in a magazine. If you look really closely at a magazine, you will see that the color printing is made up of these dot grids, sometimes called screens, which are placed at angles to one another and laid down over the page. And by controlling the size of each dot, you can control how much of each of the 3 primaries is located at each point on the page. Printers also add a black pass, because even though adding these 3 colors together in one place gives you black, it doesn't give you as rich and deep a black as black paint does. And so just to really hit the black hard, printers typically add a layer of black. So there's a second set of primaries, and these apply to printing. There's a third set, and they apply to mixing light. When you mix light, you use red, green, and blue. Those are the primaries. Those are the ones you can't make with anything else. Interestingly enough, look at the secondaries. They're cyan, magenta, and yellow. Those are the primaries of the printing colors. And red, green, and blue are the secondaries of the printing colors. So there's a very close connection there, but we won't go into that. The interesting thing to note here is when you add red, green, and blue together, you get white. So when you put colors together, the colors lighten up as opposed to getting darker. It's the opposite of pigments. So if you're trying to light a concert stage, you'll mix together red, yellow, and blue to make different colors. This is one of the popular ways that we mix colors in the computer. And the reason why has to do basically with history. We used to look at color images on the computer only on color displays that emit light. Well, now we can print them too, and we have all kinds of other displays, but the light-emitting displays were very popular, and so that technique persists. So to recap, when we mix pigments, our primaries are red, yellow, blue, and when they mix together in equal quantities, we get browns or grays. If you're printing, we'll use cyan, magenta, yellow, and they mix together in equal quantities to give us black. And if you're mixing light, the primaries are red, green, and blue, and they mix together to give us white. Now, these are by no means an exhaustive set of all the different ways you can organize color. There's the Munsell space, the LAB space, the Ostwald space, and many others. All of these color systems are very important, but the two that will occupy our attention the most when using processing are RGB, which we've talked about, and HSB, which stands for hue, saturation, and brightness. Both of these color systems are going to be very useful to us, so I've given each one its own video. Color and light are so important that it's really worthwhile nailing this all down. You will pick your colors using color pickers that typically give you sliders, and you manipulate the sliders to pick your color. By understanding the nature of the color system that you're manipulating, you'll find that you're able to use the sliders much more efficiently. And better than that, you'll be able to use them intuitively. You'll be able to kind of feel your way through to the color that works for you.